Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am your host, your friendly neighborhood misogynist, Moira Legier, and my soggy knees have been tingling. This is a good roll, a decent wobble, and a lengthy tumble. Myths and superstitious legends take their toll. We had a good run, and a greater roll, and the lengthiest tumble. Past glories are duplicated in a faulty paper copier, to come out broken, ripped and torn in a weird copycat display, a shattered mirror reflecting freedom and liberty, where freedom is drawn hastily, outlined in strange dystopian prose, painted with the ink and trembling ire of surveillance through social and governmental power. Of course you are free and have your freedom, sir and saintly madam, as long as you don't act free and act out your freedom. The hard and the soft power combined, standing in harm's way to harm the way and shatter sheltered minds of plenty, to then permanently save them from shattering through rules and regulations designed so that no one of the sheltered and the sacred shall ever have to hear anything they dislike. Which, according to the whim of the doublespeak fairy godmother of supreme morality, may or may not include someone merely disagreeing. It all depends on the pre-designed political correctness of stated opinion or fact or truth. It is, after all, far more important to be morally and emotionally correct than it is to be factually correct. So spake the fleeting fairy of flimsy morality and flimsier virtue. Of course you are free to speak and express yourself through freedom of speech and expression, as long as you accept all these limitations on your freedom to speak and to express yourself, as well as the governmental penalties should you transgress and act out that freedom. Hate speech laws ain't nothing but a slow, dark cloud of tyranny. It is a storm beating down on us from afar, an inevitable decline into compelled speech, of forced conformity of thought and of opinion. Making it illegal to say something must simultaneously mean it is illegal to hold that opinion. If you cannot speak your mind, how can you possibly have a free mind? Of course I believe in freedom of speech, but freedom of speech should not extend to ideas which I object to. On a superficial level, we stand free as free could be, to express whatever and whichever, to walk the path less trodden by feet less swollen. Complete expression of self is absolutely allowed, though you cannot express disagreement with someone else's complete expression of self should your values in some way align with the dark side of the force. And what is light and what is dark is decided in the dark by drunk hens hen-pecking social interaction to drunk, drugged and despairing death. Should your values not align, you are free game for the feral forces of the mob and of the pack, and the government for that maddening matter, slow death by 1,000 pecks. Hounded, depersoned, unpersoned and disappeared loudly, with horns blaring through the frenzy of the pack, the soft power of sublime social pressure. Wild hens hunting the heretic by any means necessary. Threats of violence and use of violence is all part of the game. No need to argue or discuss. Attack the person, not the argument. Superficial ad hominem. Reductio ad Hitlerium, ya dig? All who do not fall into this is fucking Nazi scum, alt-right pack rats, fascist collaborators extraordinaire. After all, the person is not a person any longer. The person is an object, an enemy, a scapegoat upon whose frame all scorn and hatred and ridicule may be placed and laid to rest upon the brow-beaten skeletal frame of his simian shoulders. Insert sure Jan meme for maximum efficiency in dismissal and put-down. Rid yourself of toxic fuckaroos. External appearance is now marvelously and magically, through smoke and mirrors, through wild and lengthy yarns spun in campfire tales told frantically by mad-eyed unblinking hens, far more important than internal whatever. Content of character matters little when faced with the overwhelming argument of skin color, sexuality, sex and gender. Ho ho ho, and bloody well fuck off. If you look like this, you got to think like that, it goes without saying. Tribal belonging through external appearance first and foremost. A subversive, a remarkably childish, superficial takeover manufactured in myriad mind-melt manipulations. To think like this, you ought to look like that. Don that uniform and wear the insignia of the tribe, burnt and branded on your buttocks by your handlers. You'll wind up without anything resembling true within. Without within, within stands without. Shattered and shamed, tattered and torn, broken between a rock and a hard place, or between a cock and a hard face. You are not allowed that here, buddy boy, lest you swear allegiance to this tribe. Nor that color of pants. Might as well tattoo a swastika on your inner thigh, you lowly, low-class something or other. Superficial values is identity politics wish-wash. It is smoke dreams of light masquerading as epiphanies to break the boredom of modernity. Grand words, the grand wazoo, and much ado about abso-fucking-lutely nothing. First world problems presented as profound difficulties, whimsical realms of absolute and acute madness, inflammation of the right and the left brain hemisphere, epileptic fits of tongue-twisting tattletales. The new academic lingo is speaking in tongues in histrionic fits of crazy ecstasy, a religious trance to last 100 years, or 2 seconds flat, replaced seconds later with some new petty grievance-fueled annoyance, presented in the same histrionic ecstasy. All hail the high goddess' annoying intellectual ramble and her clouded descent into the babbled afterlife. Ramble on, my wayward world. There'll be cheese when you are done. Cheese and wine for maximum madness. At times, I think we need a good old-fashioned war. At the very least, please give us a small crisis, something substantial in this dawn of the insubstantial, in this doom where anything means nothing and nothing means anything, in this age of the great gobbledygook, the fantastic swoon, the hollowed swan, the wondrous woo, the gargantuan woozy whimsy of willful vanity wandering wonderingly within the borders of our manufactured frailty, our remarkable parody of reality. All who dwell within our borders are set to collapse at a moment's notice. Mind and sanity and inner strength bastardized and sodomized in equal measure, the fall, the oh so timely fall into superficiality and moral bestiality, moral inner species erotica, with not a smidgen nor a shade of shame and self-reflection to be found or to be had. We have grown depraved and decadent, bereaved of manual labor and drowning in automation. We have nothing to seek or reach. So few hurdles to overcome that we need to manufacture them for those whom we have considered worthy of having hurdles, and we need to neglect them for those we have considered unworthy of having hurdles. You can tell who is whom by their superficial characteristics, don't you know? Big Brother is watching, as is Big Sister, the hard and the soft moral bludgeon, one with a monopoly on violence, the other with a monopoly on social death and shame and decay. Stray but a little from the trodden path, the accepted discourse and opinion, and the forces of the weak and of the frail, as they choose to refer to themselves, will beat down on you with all the frail force that can be gathered at the tumbling turreted tick of an NPC, render you all but dead and imprisoned within the cage of what is okay to speak and to say. The age of conformity sprung forth from the grimy loins of political correctness, where facts don't matter and matter is insubstantial. And something that sorely needs to be said and bespoken may not be said, spoken, or discussed despite the importance of the thing. For it would be politically incorrect and so deemed verboten by the frail forces that dominate the discourse. Do not say that. It could potentially hurt someone's feelings, buddy boy. Even if your brothers are dying, do not say that. For it will hurt the feelings of the frail forces that rule with an iron glove. The soft tyranny of manufactured pettiness and frailty, the sham that is the social game and social rulebook intertwined and conspire to smack you between the eyes, and then to lay eggs within your central nervous system, spreading, inflaming your tissue, and killing you slowly. We've got the hive-mind hierarchy of frailty, also known as the progressive stack. You can be attacked in any manner if you are at the bottom of the progressive stack. Or was that the top? It's also topsy-turvy, upside down and uncomprehendingly confusing. A for effort, fail for execution. Then dragged outside for a proper execution for failing to follow the flow of the fault line of the frail and frantic few. The choir offended, my gooey goodness how loudly they sing and shriek and whine and mutter most incoherently in the grimy greed and darkness of their silent superficiality, their vast calls for ideological superiority. In the bubble, safe and sheltered, shameless and superficial, pointing to this and only this to state with absolute certainty that you are that and only that, a terrible straight white male, the worst of the bunch, a natural force of pure evil. Antichrist sprung from the loins of a fertile ball-blasted basilisk cock-goblin to wreak bloody havoc on the world and all that dwell within. boiled and boiled and then reduced to the bare essentials of appearance, straight white male. Or pale, male and stale, as the saying goes. That is all you shall be judged upon, and to hell with anything going on within. Within is out, you see, you dig? Without is in. The hip, woke, hipster squad deemed it so incredibly appropriate to appropriate stupidity in the guise of woke intellectualism, see? Now take your toxic whiteness, your toxic maleness, and your toxic social construct heteronormative heterosexuality and kindly bugger off and die. Thank you very much for watching. Here follows an outro most befitting a video of this nature, a blatant attempt at virtual panhandling. Should you wish to support this channel, as well as my blog and any further endeavours this strange path will take me on, there are a few ways you can do that. The easiest would be to like, share and subscribe, as well as clicking the sometimes functional notification bell. Having the message, such as it is, manspread and mansplained far and wide will do wonders. You could also support my rambling and barely contained insanity by buying my books, which are linked below. More books will be made available as time allows. I also have a Redbubble shop, linked below, where you can buy prints in various forms of some of the artwork presented in my videos. Or you can contact me through the contact form on my blog for original artwork, commissions or prints direct from the source, so to speak. Until next time, I am your humble bearded bard, Morea Legier, manspreading majestically beneath the steel sky of doom.